Hi, I'm recording this video for people interested in the bearings on a Wahoo Kicker Core. So I had a bearing go while I was riding and needed to replace the bearing. So I looked at a couple of videos and thought, oh, well, that's pretty simple. And it wasn't. So I wanted to just share what I found in my experience. So this is my Wahoo Kicker Core. As you can see right now, it is apart. And I'll go over the parts that I removed so you can see what I did. So this one probably didn't really need to come off, but I did take it off as I was exploring how to resolve my problem. So this actually slips inside there behind the wheel and behind the belt. So it's the inside belt guard. And then this is the outside belt guard, right? So this would definitely need to come off. And there's a series of screws that hold it in place, as you can see. So, getting that off is critical. I mean, you can't really do anything without taking that off. And then here is where the pulley tensioner is. And so you would loosen this set screw here. And as you loosen that set screw, then this screw, which is inside here, and you can see where it was, you see where it was seated, which is actually, it belongs in here. So once you loosen this, you can loosen the set screw, and then the whole thing adjusts from there. All right, so that's just to get to the belt. And then you can remove the belt. And then once the belt is off, then you have the shaft coming through here from the flywheel, right? And then the pulley is on that. So let me show you a couple of things with the pulley that I found. So here is the pulley, right? Now the pulley itself, no big deal, right? It has a key in it which locks it into the shaft. And so if you look at the shaft, you see that complementary spot for the key, right? And here's the key, right? So that slides right in here, okay? It goes right in there, right? And you can't take that out until you get the pulley off. Now, according to some videos that I saw, this just slides right off the shaft. Well, it does not. So there's actually a set screw there. And the set screw, and there's also a nice little slot here. You just spin it around to the right place, and there's a nice spot there for your wrench to fit into the frame so that you can remove the set screw or loosen it anyway. But even still, then, it is a very difficult piece to remove. And some of the videos that I've seen do not show this significant little detail here. And if you look closely, there are threads inside the pulley, right? And so those of you who are avid bike technicians will be able to pick up pretty quickly that that is for a shaft removing tool or a crank removing tool. So here is my crank removing tool, okay? And so as this spins, it adjusts this collar on top of this shaft. And so essentially what it does is it pushes the pulley or pulls the pulley out off of the shaft, right? And so if you need some instruction on that, you might want to just grab a video on how to do that. It's really simple. You throw two wrenches on it, one here and one there, and they go in opposite directions, and it really just pulls it right out. But, for a while, I wasn't sure exactly what I was contending with, so that was an issue for me. But once I got it off, then I was able to get the key out, right? And then I used a chisel, a flat chisel, and a hammer to get this out. So that's a very delicate operation so that you don't damage this. And actually, to get it started, because it was hanging out here a bit, I used a rubber mallet to start it. And you could also use maybe a hunk of wood, like a 2x4 on the end of a hammer, and just hit that. Better to beat up the 2x4 than it is to beat up the end of your shaft, right? So then once it was popped out here, then I needed to do some wiggling back and forth to get it completely out. And that's actually where I had used the flat chisel as well inside there. So once you get inside here, there's a spacer that's in here that's aluminum, right? And then there are these wonderful little bearings, right? And the bearings, if you look closely, you can see that there is a number on the bearings. And so this one is 6003Z, and the 6003 is the dimensions of the bearing, and the Z is a type of bearing that it is, which is shielded, okay? So the shield helps to protect the bearings, otherwise you'd be able to see the bearings, right? So I decided to go instead with a different kind of bearing. The numbers are the same, it's the 6003, but instead of a Z representing the shield, it is a 2RS, which is representing the rubber seal as opposed to the shield. So that is what I have here to replace, because my thinking is why would I put something that is allowing the grime from whatever is around the trainer to get into the bearing. So you got all sorts of stuff. If you are doing it on in a carpeted area, then you'll get the grime from the carpet or from the vacuum, or if you're not, other stuff that's just flying up in the air. And then of course there's chain oils and things. I have a waxed chain system, so the wax I think got into the old bearing, so that didn't help any either. So that's what I've decided to do, is to go with a sealed bearing. And so my next step then is to put these back in and then reassemble everything, and with any luck it'll work just like it did before, and actually probably a little bit better. So I hope that helps.